Hey, welcome everyone. Bienvenidos, bienvenidas. My name is Dr. Paul Austerlitz. I'm a visiting distinguished research professor at the Dominican Studies Institute at CUNY. And we're coming to you from the Dominican Studies Institute in collaboration with the Hostos Center. And this is the celebration of Dominican music, where over the summer months, we have been celebrating a different genre every 2 weeks. We had merengue, Afro-Dominican music, and Dominican classical music. And today is our final episode, and we're focusing on merengue with a great musician whom I will introduce in one moment. And I just wanted to tell you that it's been such a pleasure working with everyone at Hostos, Felix Arocho, Greg Brown, and also as an honor to work with Doctora Ramona Hernandez from the Dominican Studies Institute on this project. The Celebration of Dominican Music series is based on the Dominican Studies Institute's interactive website, focusing on the history of Dominican music in the United States. It's an open source platform that really goes into a lot of detail about the history of merengue, bachata, Afro-Dominican music, and Dominican classical music, the 4 genres which we have been focusing on in this series. And I'm sad to see everyone go, but we'll be together, I hope, in the fall in person. So we have a big treat for you today. It's a video of Ray Chino Díaz group, and we'll be listening to that in a moment. But before we go to listen to it, I wanted to welcome Ray to the show. Hey, Ray, are you there? There Hey, saludo.
Saludo, Paul. Todo bien, gracias a Dios. Tú sabes que estamos en Miami now. Estoy en Miami, pero gracias a Dios todo bien, todo va marchando tranquilo, pero todo bien, gracias a Dios.
Yeah,
Everything's good. Yeah.
So it's such a pleasure to see Ray. You know, I'm able to work with some people I've known for so many years, and Ray is an important musician. We're going to talk about his project that he put together for you today, and Rafael Petiton Guzman, who another production that Ray did with the Dominican Studies Institute, and his work with Mario Rivera. So I guess you can introduce the musicians and everything later, but do you have a quick tidbit of knowledge that you want to pass on to us before we go on to the music that you prepared?
Being that one thing is, should I be speaking in English or both, in Espanol and in English?
More English. I think we can do both.
English. Okay, so
you can speak Spanish or English.
Well, first of all, it's an honor, right? It's an honor to be invited, to be part of the series, and thanks to everyone at Hostos, Dominican Studies Institute, you, of course. It's an honor to be part of this, being that I've been around merengue all my life. I would say before I was born. I was already, before I was born, I was introduced to merengue, especially merengue típico, because even though I've been playing all different other types of merengue, I always consider myself un músico de merengue típico, merengue. But since once you guys had spoke to me about doing something about merengue, I decided to go with, traditional stuff, traditional music, merengue, derecho, primera parte, pambiche, mangulina, so that's what I did. We put together a few of the traditional, merengues and folkloric, merengues and stuff like that.
Excellent. So folks, you're really in for a treat, because Ray Diaz is really one of the most important tamboreros in the music. And you might not hear about him along with Frilo Vargas and Johnny Ventura, because he's behind the scenes, but this is the real tradition. He really represents the real tradition of merengue típico dominicano. And so let's check out the video, and then we'll have a nice discussion about it afterwards.
Cool.
merengue, caña brava, sabrosito he de bailar. El que quiera comer caña, vaya hacia el cañaveral. Las chiquitas son a medio y las grandes son a real. Caña dulce, ay mamá, caña brava, ay mamá, caña dulce, ay mamá, caña brava, ay mamá, dame un gajo, ay mamá, de tu caña, ay mamá, dame un gajo, ay mamá, de tu caña, tambora. Caña dulce, ay mamá, caña brava, ay mamá, cañita dulce, ay mamá, caña brava, ay mamá, dame un gajo, ay mamá, de tu caña, ay mamá, dame un gajo, ay mamá, de tu caña, ay mamá. Se acabó la caña, se acabó el moler, se acabó la caña, se acabó el moler. Los de Montellano se van a joder, los de Montellano se van a joder. Caña dulce, ay mamá, caña brava, ay mamá, cañita dulce, ay mamá, caña brava, ay mamá, dame un gajo, ay mamá, de tu caña, ay mamá, dame un gajo, ay mamá, de tu caña, ay mamá. Las muchachas de Juan Gómez son bonitas y bailan bien, pero tienen un defecto que se ríen de todo el que ven. Ay, olala, pero tienen un defecto que se ríen de todo el que ven. Me gusta bailar con Lola porque Lola baila bueno. Ella se deja llevar como caña para el ingenio. Ay, olala, ella se deja llevar como caña para el ingenio. Me gusta bailar con Lola porque Lola baila fino. Ella se deja llevar como caña para molino. Ay, Lola, ella se deja llevar como caña para molino. Las muchachas de Juan Gómez son prietas como el carbón y se quieren poner blancas a fuerza del almidón. Ay, olala, y se quieren poner blancas a fuerza del almidón. Guayacanay, por allá por Guayacanay. Voy bajando la loma, voy, en mi yeguita bajando la loma, voy, en mi yeguita atacando para llegar, de nochecita atacando para llegar, de nochecita y por allá por Guayacanay, por allá por Guayacanay, por allá por Guayacanay, por allá por Guayacanay. muñequita linda de los algodones, que no te me vaya ahora, mamá, esto se compone, no te vaya ahora, que esto se compone. Yo hice un juramento, voy a quedar mal. Yo hice un juramento, voy a quedar mal. Que yo por mujer no lloro, por ti voy a llorar. Por mujer no lloro, por ti voy a llorar. Muñequita linda de los algodones, muñequita linda de los algodones, no te vaya ahora, esto se compone, no te vaya ahora, esto se compone. Hice un juramento y no lo cumplí yo, hice un juramento y no lo cumplí. Por mujer no lloro y lloré por ti, por mujer no lloro y lloré por ti. Hice un juramento, voy a quedar mal. Hice un juramento, voy a quedar mal. Por mujer no lloro, por ti voy a llorar. Por mujer no lloro, por ti voy a llorar. En Villa González están los algodones. En Villa González, Santiago, están los algodones. No se vaya nadie, que esto se compone. No se vaya nadie, que esto se compone. llegando al pueblo. Aquí yo no quiero costanero. Que vamos llegando al pueblo. Soy del campo y voy para el pueblo. Que vamos llegando al pueblo. De agua. Oh.
Wow, thank you so much, Ray. That was such a treat. I hope everybody enjoyed that. I wanted to, hey, Ray, come back on screen. Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can you tell us like who was playing there? Because we'd share, you know, we got to give the spotlight to these guys.
Yeah, no, I was looking at the video and thinking about that. I want to thank you know, the guys that joined me there. The accordion player, his name is Rudy Chiqui. Everybody knows him by Chiqui. I know him for many years. The güira player, Javier, el güirero Javier, his father is a legendary icon accordion player, Rafaelito Roman.
Oh, okay. I know Rafaelito very well. Yeah, I know him too. I probably know him. I just
Javier. Yeah. And the bass player, Bajista, one of my best friends, a legendary bass player, played with El Cieguito de Nagua for many years. Guillermo, everybody knows him by Tano. So I want to appreciate all the guys. Quiero darle las gracias a los músicos que me acompañaron en ese escenario ahí. Gracias, muchachos. Thank you.
Yeah, it's such an honor, you know, to be able to host this and in the company of such great musicians. And I think most of our listeners know and viewers, but maybe everybody doesn't, that this is merengue. You know, this is the national music of the Dominican Republic. And that's the traditional way of playing merengue. Today we have reggaeton, which has influence of merengue. We have In the Heights. We have everything, you know. And but merengue can never go away. You know, merengue is like it's just part of the lifeblood. It's like arroz y habichuelas, you know, it's just.
Exacto.
And as someone that's not Dominican, but has spent, you know, so much time there, you know, I can tell you, even for a foreigner, you know, the power of the music and the beauty and the love and the family, the way people talk, that's so natural, you know, the way they're pronouncing, they're not putting on airs. That's just the real people you're seeing, not pretending to be fancy or anything. So, and then I can only imagine how it feels for Dominicans, the pride that people must feel to have this music have traveled all over the world, you know, and made such an impact and given so much joy. So how did you choose those songs that you played?
Well, I mean, I guess those are a few of so many that we can choose. Because as you know, there are so many, you know, rich merengues. I mean, the list is, you know, it's a long list. But I just thought, like for example, Compadre Pedro Juan, you know, it's a song, it's a merengue that, I mean, I think all over the world. Who doesn't know Compadre Pedro Juan? ¿Quién no conoce ese merengue de Compadre Pedro Juan? So Caña Brava, you know, Los Algodones. These are all songs that, you know, if you know merengue, you know, you're gonna definitely recognize those songs. And the Mangulina, I mean, that's why I decided to choose these. I mean, there's so many. I could have chosen so many, but I think this was a pretty good line of songs.
Yeah, like you said, you chose some of the most iconic merengue standards, you know, that really define the most important aspect of the music, you know, those songs. I think you made a great choice of those because they're all folkloric merengues with composers known sometimes and sometimes just folklore. And actually one of the songs, as you mentioned, was actually a mangolina, which is not merengue. It's a different kind of music. What's mangolina and why did you choose to play that?
Mangolina, it's actually more of a, I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
For some reason, my computer, the Siri on my computer is going on. I'm not even close to the computer. For some reason, it's just going on.
We're fine.
I'm sorry.
But
so Mangolina, okay, we're good now, we're good. So I chose the Mangolina because the rest of the other songs were more like the merengue, the pampiche, and the Mangolina is a different feel. And of course, it's a different time signature for those who know music. Is more 6/8, and I love Mangolina. Mangolina is one of the richest Dominican rhythms. You know, so I said, you know, we have to do a Mangolina.
Yeah, and it just shows the research you put into it and the knowledge you have.
Thank you.
Because merengue, you know, is played throughout the Dominican Republic, but el merengue típico that we know, those songs that you played that became so famous, was really from the Cibao, the central northern part of the country, and Mangolina is from the south. It's a different kind of music.
Yes.
That was really not known outside of the countryside until Luis Calaf, the composer of the piece you played, brought it to the capital in the 1950s, I think. So just the history of Dominican music is so rich, and there's so many kinds of music besides merengue. And then within merengue, you played pambiche, which is one kind of merengue, and other merengue, and the merengue has different sections. Hey, I noticed one thing on La Empaliza. Man, you were doing some flashy tambora work there. I don't know if, I hope everybody noticed that, folks, that this is a master here who was doing some really, but tasty, not overcoming or not showing off.
Thank
but
you.
I sort of wish you'd show off more, but like there were some tasty little repiques that you put
Repiques, yeah. It's just, I guess, repiques. Those repiques come out of inspiration, you know, depending on where the song is, and it just comes out of nowhere, you know. So it's yeah.
Hey, before we go on and talk about some of the newer projects that you're doing, tell us like where you were born and how you got into playing music and stuff.
Oh, definitely. I was born in New York City. Nací en la ciudad de Nueva York, en el Bajo Manhattan, down by the Lower East Side, Little Italy, Chinatown. And music, like I said in the beginning, music was with me before I was born. And I say that because when I was born, you know, well, first, you know, my dad was a tamborero. You know, my father played tambora. So when I was born in the music. In my house, en mi casa había un acordeón, una güira, y una tambora. And there was a time that there was a marimba, what they call a marimba. So, I mean, as soon as I was born, I was just born in, you know, in that music. My father used to play, my brother-in-law used to play, my padrino tocaba, my godfather used to play. So, you know, then just growing up, listening to them, I just picked it up. I started playing. I picked up the accordion, but I didn't really do anything with the accordion. But then I went into the güira, because the güira was my main instrument.
Okay.
Before I picked up the tambora and all the other percussion instruments that I play.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. And then you've done a lot of stuff with merengue típico in New York.
Let me mention something, Paul. You see that tambora on the tambora that I played.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know why it's happening. It's just.
But it doesn't affect us.
Okay, that tambora. Let me say that tambora has been with us for over 45 years. Esa tambora tiene más de 45 años. It was my father's tambora. Now, not only that tambora was brought to New York by one of Tatico Enrique's tamboreros.
Wow.
So Tatico used to go to my house in the Lower East Side, and my mom used to cook for Tatico Enrique. Tatico used to carry me on his laps. Yeah.
So people that don't know about merengue history, he was one of the greatest merengue musicians of all time, really. And my favorite, actually, I think he's my favorite because I like típico music more than, you know, that's my favorite kind of merengue.
Yeah.
And he's really probably the best in típico. And then also the music that they played were all composed by the greatest composers, and the güira player is also the son of one of the great típico accordion players in Santiago, Dominican Republic today. Yes. So it's all coming together. That's really interesting. I'm glad you shared that with us. And it's so interesting that you were born in New York and you're such a purveyor of traditional Dominican culture. You know, it just proves how international, and you can't stop merengue, man. It's not going to stop just because it's in New York or anything, you know? No,
definitely not. You can't stop. Man, I tell you, once anyone listens to the rhythm, to that tambora and the güira, I mean, it just makes you want to, you know, cuando se escucha esa tambora y esa güira, tú te quieres parar, no te quieres parar, tú quieres bailar. It doesn't matter who it is. And it doesn't matter if you're Dominican. It's just a rich rhythm. Te hace bailar, no?
It's very powerful, very contagious.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I was born in Finland, but I grew up in New York. But I was in Finland a couple of years ago, and they were dancing bachata, and they were doing a good job with it too. They were like,
Yes.
yeah. And then everyone, you know, when I first heard merengue, I was like, what is this? I got to play this. I got to be around this. It was just, it made me so happy. It's just so happy. It's such happy music, you know?
Man, Paul, I like 8 years ago, 10, I went to Russia to play bachata.
Wow. Wow.
It's-
So that's why, you know, this is a celebration of Dominican music. And we really want to highlight the main genres of this music. You know, merengue is the best known
Yes.
one. And, you know, I mean, it's really important to present these great famous musicians like Johnny Ventura and everyone.
Claro.
But the thing is that people, I'm just saying this to the audience, that Ray Diaz that's the backbone of merengue, the percussion, the tambora, the working musicians that really make it happen. It's not only about the star. And that's what I think that this series is so good at, you know, has really succeeded. And I'm not saying it because of me, I'm saying it because of Felix Arrocho, also Center, Doctora Ramona Hernandez, all the people that were really putting this together and gave me the honor of being part of it. Because we're focused on these people who aren't maybe the most famous, but I would argue the most important, because the people like Ray Diaz are really back there. And Ray's knowledge is, he's very humble, but he plays multiple percussion instruments. He plays all the Latin percussion instruments, and he understands the history of the music and all genres of music. And I wanted to ask you and also tell the audience a little bit about a project that the CUNY Dominican Studies Institute is launching next week, July 2nd. It's a trilogy focusing on the music of Rafael Petiton Guzman, who was, you know, I'm not objective, but he's actually my favorite Dominican composer right now.
Yeah.
And he was born in 1894 in Salcedo, Dominican Republic. He lived in Puerto Rico for many years and studied a lot of classical music there. Really had an amazing education as a bombardino player and trombone player, pianist, and composer, and band leader, and pianist. And he traveled all around Latin America performing. And then he came to the United States in 1939. And he was the first person to play merengue in New York City.
It's amazing.
And he composed merengue, but not only merengue, paso doble, danza, danzón, vals, criolla, and Ray Diaz. So I'm giving it away, but I want to give it, like the idea behind it, because I'm actually curious. I know folks, audience, I know Ray pretty well, and I've been working on this project with him, but I would like to hear about your experience, because Ray is the musical director, along with John Bimbiris, of the Dominican Studies Institute Orchestra. That's what we're calling it. We re-recorded all a selection of Petiton's music, and with the best musicians in New York that Ray put together. He was the reason that we were able to get all these people together, and it's just really, I'm not objective, so people, but don't take my word for it. Listen for it on Spotify and all the media outlets. Starting July 2nd, Petiton, Petiton. It's easy to remember, Petiton. And look for it and just check it out and enjoy the music. But what was it like putting all that together? Because you were the one that put all those recordings together.
Well, first of all, thanks to John too, man. When he got in contact with me and he spoke to me about the project, and then he showed me some of the recordings and stuff, I said, wow, this is amazing. I think this is like one of the most interesting projects I've ever been involved with. I mean, before, you guys introduced me to Petiton, I had no idea who Petiton was. No tenía idea quién era Petiton Guzman, Rafael Petiton Guzman. Amazing. But I just went in there. I studied, I mean, most of the stuff, most of the music that he composed, I already had an idea sometime or another, I've had played those rhythms. And of course, listening to some of the recordings, so I just heard just, the percussion end of it, and redid some of the stuff besides the merengues, the pambiches, but the danzas, paso doble. I had to play, the snares with the drum. It was amazing to be involved in the project. And I can't wait for people to listen to it. I'm sure those of you that understand and appreciate good music, they're gonna enjoy it. They're gonna, and then all the musicians that I was able to get, that's another thing. Hay que darle gracias a todos esos músicos que también participaron en esa grabación de Rafael Petitón. All those guys were amazing, and they all wanted to be part of it because of what it was. Mm-hmm. That's why I think there was so much love into the project that I think that's why it just came out the way it came out. It's amazing.
It's amazing. I had the honor of playing on a few songs, tenor sax, but I mean, that was just a small little drop in it. But really, just so you know, everyone, Ray plays all the percussion on it, which is, and it has multiple genres. It's not, like you said, not just merengue. It's a lot of music types that are not very well known, And then Petitón was a master classical composer of symphonic music, So he but his music is very bailable. It's very dance-oriented. It's very fun and happy Caribbean music, but it also has this very sophisticated aspect of classical music, counterpoint and counter lines and different violins. There are a lot of violins, cellos, clarinet, in addition to trumpets, trombones, and the trombone parts are amazing because bombardino and trombone are like, so I just wanted to thank you, Ray, for being part of that, and tell and please invite the audience to check it out starting July 2nd on Spotify and all media outlets, released in the Dominican Republic as well as here, and there'll be some press about it too. So we're actually running pretty far into the show now, and so we want to make sure we have time to get some questions from the audience. But just really quickly, can you tell us a little bit about your collaboration with Mario Rivera, who was, I think, the best Latin jazz saxophonist that ever played in New York, from the Dominican Republic, and you worked with him. So tell us a little bit about that before we go into the questions from the audience.
Well, we could definitely go into a whole new show with Mario. I have so much to say about Mario. Again, honored. Fue un honor conocer a Mario Rivera. I mean, it was just, it was amazing being around Mario. Y no tanto eso, sino la relación que hicimos Mario y yo. Él me quería muchísimo a mí. Pero, again, aprendí muchísimo con Mario. Otro músico, un genio. Un genio, Mario Rivera, I'm sorry, un genio, pero fue grande conocer a Mario, estar al lado de Mario Rivera, estar al lado de él en su casa y todo eso, fue bien, muy bonito. Y muchísimas otras cosas que tengo de agradecerle a Mario Rivera. I mean, I got my LP endorsement because of Mario Rivera. And just meeting all the musicians that Mario knew. One of my idols, I was able to meet Giovanni Hidalgo, virtuoso conguero, considered to be one of the best, or not, if not the best percussionist ever. I mean, people like him, Bobadilla, Hilton Ruiz, Rafael Solano, Phoenix's son.
Julito Figueroa.
Julito Figueroa. I mean, it's just, I mean, the list goes on. Fue increíble conocer a Mario Rivera.
So that's what I just really appreciate that comment, Ray, because again, like Mario Rivera, not everybody has maybe heard of him, but he was a featured soloist with Tito Puente.
Yes.
Like he was the cat that was playing the solos, the jazz solos. He wasn't just playing in the band. And then also with Dizzy Gillespie, one of the greatest jazz musicians from the US that ever lived, but he was very interested in Latin music. So
And he also, I'm sorry, he also played with Tito Rodriguez, I think, way
Yeah,
before also.
He did. And
Yeah,
he played back in DR. He played at La Voz Dominicana too when he was very young.
exacto.
And
Yeah.
I mean, he was so generous. We would go to his house, and he was always had a smile for you. He really encouraged me a lot to keep playing, you know, and not just doing my research. He said, "You got to play, Paul. You keep playing, man. You sound good." You know? So like, so I, you know, I'm getting some messages here that I gotta give some shout outs here because this is really nice. We wondered some very wonderful comments from people. Let me just read some of them. And then this is from Yasmin Morales Vicente. Yasmin Morales Vicente dice, qué chévere, lo compartí en Facebook y estoy cantando los coros de esta casa.
Oh, wow.
That's
Nice.
what I love because we get these comments, you know. Someone said, oh,
Gracias.
so much fun on Facebook. Oh, here's some. Miriam Luna says, amazing. It reminded me of my grandparents. Thanks. Oh, Rafael Martínez dice que tú eres un tremendo músico. ¿Lo conoce?
Yeah, Rafael Martínez, Rafi, cariñosamente, he's a güira player. He used to live in New York. He used to play. Yeah, we go back for a lot. And his brother Freddie, they're all tuning in. Freddie used to play with the New York band. Yeah, so yeah, those are my boys.
Nice, nice. Here's Yesilia Lori Díaz. Said, crecimos escuchando esta música todo el día con mi padre. Miguel
That's
Díaz,
my little sister.
un excelente tamborero.
That's my little sister.
Aunque no fue reconocido, recibimos su reconocimiento a través de mi hermanito Chinito. Aunque nació en Nueva York, aprendió con orgullo nuestra música típica.
Love you, sis. Yeah, that's my little sis. Yeah, ellos están in Texas.
Okay.
They live in Texas, yeah.
Yeah, so I love the family thing here. And also I agree that, you know, not, like she said, not everybody is the most famous, but that doesn't mean they're not the best, because that's what we're about. We're an educational institution here, you know.
And you know what's funny? You know what's funny, Paul? My father, right? My father wasn't a famous, but you know, my father played with a load of legendary accordion players. Miguel Santana, Trio Ceibano, or Trio Vegano, Chichito Villa, Trio Ceibano, King de la Rosa. He played with Arsenio de la Rosa. He played with he used to do this as a hobby, but he played with all these, you know, legend icons.
Oh, that's interesting. Thanks for sharing that, because I think that's what I'm all about. You know, I'm an ethnomusicologist. I like the culture of the music, and the famous people are part of that. But the backbone of culture is created by so many people that we might not, even Petiton, who really is, I think, one of the best composers, Latin American composers ever in all of Latin America, but he really fell off the radar, you know. So that's what we're here for as educators, you know, here at Hostos and Dominican Studies Institute. But here's one, we can go a little past 8:30, I think, but here's a good one. What is each percussion instrument called? From Grace Atanasio Schickler.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, the instrument I was playing is a tambora, and the instrument that looks like a cheese grater is the güira, you know, and then the accordion, and the bass player.
So those are the main instruments of traditional merengue: accordion, tambora, y güira, and the bass is also added in.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's one. Oh, this is a funny one. Can I come sing coros for you? Ha ha ha. I'm singing from here. That was fun, from Yasmin Morales Vicente. So that was a joke, I guess. Unless you need someone to sing coro. But she also wanted to know, where can we see merengue típico in New York City these days? Or maybe after the pandemic. Not in the pandemic, but once things open up, is there anywhere we can go?
Oh, there's a lot of places in New York. Well, in Brooklyn, as I'm going to say, well, I mean, all over New York, Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, there's a very, very popular, maybe one of the most popular places in New York where you can find, you can go. Oh my God, I forgot the name. I can't.
Hey, if anybody's curious, shoot us an email at Hostos, and then we'll look into it and get back to you.
Yeah.
Send us a text on Facebook or anywhere, and we will get that information to you because we really.
I just remember, Paul, Martitas in Brooklyn is one of the most popular places. Martitas.
And it's fun. It's fun. It's the best kind of merengue to dance to, I think. It's so varied, you know. There's always, it's really the interaction between the instruments. So now, here's an interesting one. I'll let you just answer this. From Raymond Abad. Who was the first to introduce the timbales to merengue típico? To merengue típico.
Oh, wow.
I know they're not really used. Is timbal used in merengue típico?
Ramon. Well, Ramon Abad, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a folkloric, he's a percussion instrument.
I know Abad.
Ramon Abad, yeah.
Hola Abad, ¿cómo está?
Sí, hola Abad. Well, he's asking that because yours truly, I'm responsible for actually adding the timbales to the música típica in the early 90s. I decided, even though back in the 70s, a timbal was used by El Cieguito de Nagua. El Cieguito de Nagua used to have a band, but El Cieguito de Nagua had a band where they played salsa, merengue, boleros, so they used to use the timbal. The way I introduced it was more for the effects, for the tamborero to play effects on the breaks, or even since I play some timbales, I would actually, in the middle of a song, stand up y hacer un solo de timbal en el típico. So yes, so I am responsible for introducing the timbales and also some other, other instruments like the snare in la música típica. Now all tamboreros have to use a timbal.
So Abad, thanks for that. Yeah, that was a good
question. Gracias, Ramon.
Sí, porque, you're very modest, so we need these little prompts here.
Thank you.
So here's another really good one from Jasmine Morales Vicente. Can you talk a little bit about the role of women in merengue before and now? It would be cool to know more about female singers and musicians in this genre of music.
Wow. We definitely know a few of the females, the female accordion players, starting with Fefita La Grande. You have Maria Díaz, you have La India Canela, and of course you have Lida de la Rosa, La Muñequita. Those were the ones that started playing around. Well, Fefita was already late 70s, en los 70, so 80, Maria Díaz around there, late 80s, La India Canela, and then Lidia. And now there's many, right? Oh, Raquel Aria, that's another one. Esa otra, pero ya hay muchas. Hay una que creo que le dicen la Barbie de la música típica. Hay unas cuantas. So there's a few. There's a lot more now than when I used to play in the 80s. If in the 80s there were the top four, the first four that I mentioned, it was only those four, eran esas cuatro. Ahora hay como 10 o 15 mujeres que tocan música típica.
And it's interesting because women were playing merengue típico on accordion before the advent of like women bands like Las Chicas del Can, Belkis Concepto. Because the accordion was, I had the honor of interviewing Fefita La Grande, and she told me that she was playing as a child, and there was not a thing that women wouldn't play accordion. It was like her family all wanted her to play, accordion. Now maybe not tambora and not trumpet, but accordion. You know?
Yeah, accordion. Yeah, and to my understanding, I don't remember the name, pero había otra posiblemente antes de Fefita. había otra señora
Mm.
que tocaba de los lados de from Puerto Plata, I think from not in bed, somewhere in Puerto Plata. There was another. She wasn't as famous, but she used to play also.
Wow, yeah, I'd like to find out more because yeah, Fefita told me that people used to play more at home, maybe not professionally, but like women would, girls like fathers would give their daughter the accordion and they would just play it and they, you know, way back, you know. So, but that's an important question to talk about. So I guess we'll sign off in a minute, but I just can't resist this opportunity, Ray, to ask you about one more thing. A project that you did, we talked about Rafael Petiton, we talked about Mario Rivera, but the other great unsung, there's so many unsung musicians in Dominican music. That's the theme that I keep thinking about today. That Tabito Vasquez, to me, he's the best. Now, I'm not objective again, but I think he's the best Latin jazz saxophonist of all time. No,
really,
nothing against anyone else like Paquito or anyone, but I think he's up there. I think he's maybe the best, or certainly one of the best. And you know, he really isn't known, and he didn't record very much under his own name. But you recorded an album with him that we're hoping to re-release. We won't talk about that yet because we don't know, but we're hoping that we're going to finally release it. But what was it like working with Tabito Vasquez?
Well, that was another great experience because I had heard about Tabito many years, you know, way before I actually met him, like in the 80s. He did some live shows with El Cieguito de Nagua and Rafaelito Roman, and I remember listening to him for the first time and just listening to how amazing Tabito was with his solos, and then just being able to later on in life to be able to actually be in the studio with him was just amazing. Even though, like I told you earlier, when they flew him to New York, Federico Chang flew him to New York. He was very sick, so that was kind of like a little sad to see him like that, knowing like how amazing he was. But it was just another blessed experience to be able to be in the studio with Tabito Vasquez and Mario Rivera.
So I have a note here saying we have to start wrapping up because we had so many things to talk about, man. I have to get this in this because it's such an opportunity for me and also for, I think, the audience to talk to someone like Ray Chino Díaz, who's really made history, made a lot of the history of Dominican music and now documenting it. And please, folks, remember, Ray Diaz and also Rafael Petiton, and look for his music on Spotify starting July 2nd, and Mario Rivera, and also Tabito Vasquez, and hopefully we'll be able to release some of Tabito's music coming up in the next year or so. So, hey, Ray, thank you so much, man. This was really, I learned a lot from you, and it's always fun talking to you anyway. So thank you so much.
Man, what can I say? It's this is more than a pleasure to be able to do this and to be able to share part of my life, my music journey. I've been wanting to do this for a little bit, so I'm hoping that you and I, we can continue doing this. And I just want to thank, before we go, if I have time, I want to thank everybody. I want to mention first of all my dad, Miguel Díaz. I have to I have to give it to him because without him, I probably wouldn't have become a typical musician, and I wouldn't have known what you never know, but I wouldn't have known what música típica was. And my mother, Reina Díaz. I have to mention my mom, who I love, and my dad is not with us anymore. My mom is, and of course I want to say, I want to say what's up to all my brothers and sisters, my nephews, and all my friends, todos los músicos, colegas, que han sido parte de mi viaje musical. I can mention so many people, Pavel de Jesus, you know, and everyone at Dominican Studies Institute, you know, Nelson, Emmanuel. I mean, I can go on. A todos aquellos que no me acuerdo, le mando un abrazo de parte del Chinito, de siempre. Un abrazo, lo queremos mucho. And of course, my God and my Jesus. I have to thank my Jesus for making this what it was, and what it is today, what it's going to be tomorrow. And my wife, I can't leave my wife, Nilsa Oyola Diaz, and everyone else that we know, that I know. I love you guys. It was great. Paul, thank you so much. I hope that we can do this again.
Wonderful. Yeah, and thanks to everyone who listened and watched and the comments. So,
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to thank you, everyone. Thank you, Hostos. Thank you, Dominican Studies Institute, Doctora Ramon Hernandez, Felix Arrocho. To me, as the gringo in the room, man, I am so honored, you know, to be part of this. I have to tell the audience, because when I first was asked to do this, I said, "You sure you want me?" You know, and then they said, "Yeah," because you know I've been part of this for my whole life too, you know, and it's just so such a blessing, you know, to be part of this family. And it's been a great show. The celebration of Dominican music. We had bachata, merengue, Afro-Dominican, and Dominican classical. And look for Rafael Petiton Guzman starting July 2nd. And now I'm going to sign off. We'll see you hopefully in person at Hostos Center in the fall.
And I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. So I'm everywhere around there also, if people want to look at, you know, and follow me.
Yes, look for Ray Diaz music. All right, see everyone later. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone. Good night.